I was listening to Mike Slater on Breitbart Sirius XM. He's the host now. And he talked about how there was a test that was given to over 900 people. And it was 10 questions. That's all it was 10 questions about America. And only 36% of the people passed the test. To pass the test, you had to get 6 questions right. Only 36% passed it. Less than half got 6 out of 10 questions right. The questions were like, who was the first president? And what country did we fight in World War II? People couldn't answer basic questions like that. And so the discussion moved on to, how do you explain to these people, to the TikTok crowd, if you will, how Joe Biden needs to go because he committed crimes by accepting bribes from foreign governments to get policy changes done in their favor? And I thought about that. And I'm hoping it's not too late to get to these people. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. First off, this is going to sound insulting. It's going to sound insulting to a lot of people in the TikTok crowd. I'm sorry it has to be that way, but it is what it is, what I'm about to talk about. And I want to hear your comments about it too below. When you think about the movie Idiocracy, the TikTok crowd is already there. If you haven't seen Idiocracy yet, you have to see it. It became a cult classic film because it's so stupid, but we are there today. The movie is about the future due to technology where, probably liberalism, the people are so stupid that it denies belief in a benevolent being that they are able to tie their own shoes. We have people like this now in the United States. We've seen Mark Dice go out in California and ask random people on a boardwalk, on a pier, on the street, simple questions that U.S. citizens should know. Most of them do not know. They don't have the slightest clue of who the first president was or who won the Civil War. And they don't care. Many of them can't tell you who is the vice president. Hell, some of them don't even know who the current president is. Seriously, there's a lot of these people. Can you imagine living in the United States and you don't know who the president of the United States is? Now, I'm going to sound biased because I am a conservative, but I do believe that most conservatives are much more engaged in what's going on in this country than the TikTok crowd, than the Democracy Now! People, than the MoveOn.org morons. So in this country now, we have an informed bubble and an uninformed bubble. In the informed bubble, people who actually know what the hell is going on are there. And then in the uninformed bubble, we have people who vote for Democrats. The problem is that there are many more uninformed people than informed people, and each of them all have the right to vote. And the uninformed people will vote for politicians like Joe Biden, who create policies that go against their own interests, but they don't care because they don't know the things that are being done to harm them by those policies because they don't care enough to learn about them. For example, they know that prices are going up in the stores for everything they buy, and prices are going up at the pump, but they don't know why. You will have a lying politician tell them that it's because of the Republicans. And the uninformed crowd, the TikTok people, will just believe it and continue to vote Democrat. And then you have the informed crowd who will tell you it's because Joe Biden spent too much money, and that caused inflation, and he also screwed up our energy policies, which have caused us to have $4 per gallon at the pump now, and it's going to go up way a lot more than that from there. And the TikTok crowd from the uninformed bubble, they don't know why. And therefore, they get to the point where they don't care why. They just know that they have to vote Democrat. That's where we are today. And I believe that most people in the uninformed bubble no longer care to vote to preserve America and her ideals. They vote for who will give them the most goodies paid for by your money from your taxes. I understand voting for your own self-interest. That's what I do. But not to the point where you will vote for someone like Joe Biden, who sold the influence of his office as vice president for millions of dollars to enemy nations like China, like Russia, yes, Russia, and others. Yes, he received tens of millions of dollars from China and at least $3 to $5 million from the mayor of Moscow, from his wife. The media are not yet at the point where they believe this. even though there's a plethora of evidence out there that the Republicans in Congress have already uncovered. So they're not ready to ask the questions, what did Joe Biden do for all those millions of dollars? What did he give the foreign governments for that money? If people think that Xi Jinping was going to see that Joe Biden got millions and millions of dollars because he liked them, then you're a blithering idiot who belongs in the uninformed crowd. I think the impeachment inquiry that the Republicans are doing now should not go quickly. It should be drip, drip, drip. If they have 15 charges for 15 crimes, I think they should spend 15 weeks going over them. 1 week for each crime. So that the American people get it. Because they're not going to get it from the mainstream media. Because the mainstream media is part of the TikTok crowd, the uninformed bubble, if you will. So naturally, you have a lot of reporters who are in the uninformed bubble, who are not really serious journalists, but are left-wing activists who claim to be journalists. And they, as much as the others in the uninformed bubble, do not care for the betterment of America. As activists, they have an agenda. They're the ones who will defend Joe Biden during this impeachment inquiry. I was listening to Bongino's radio show as well, and he played a clip of a woman reporter who just said to a Republican congressman that there was no evidence linking Joe Biden to Hunter Biden's overseas business deals.
Back to the show. They are peeing their pants, man, about impeachment, not because they think they're going to lose, but because of the bank records. Here's Scott Perry. Again, when some dipshit reporter's like, but there's no direct evidence, man. Scott Perry just tears this reporter up like, really? Did you miss all this stuff? Here, check this out.
What actual evidence do you have as opposed to allegations to show to the American public that would merit an actual impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden and prove that today isn't just about some of you successfully bullied Speaker McCarthy for the sake of enacting political revenge?
This isn't about political revenge. We have the bank accounts. We can see, ma'am, you can see that the homes that the Bidens own can't be afforded on a congressional or Senate salary. You also understand that it's not normal for family members to receive millions of dollars from overseas interests. Those things aren't normal. That's not normal to have 20 shell companies. These things are not normal, and it alludes to not only just widespread corruption, but money laundering, if not influence peddling itself.
This is what we need to do every time.
It was an incredibly ignorant statement. But this so-called reporter from the uninformed bubble either didn't know any of that or knows it and wants to start a narrative that it's not true. So my question to all of you is, how do we convey the messaging to get the people in the uninformed bubble to understand? Is it possible, or is it too late? Do they truly live in an idiocracy world outside of our own where they could care less that their own political party that they support has done things to harm them and cost them money? Now, don't get me wrong. I think there are a lot of people in the uninformed bubble out there across the fruited plains who are very decent Americans. They're not trying to harm anyone. They're not being political. They just don't know what's going on, or they don't care. The Democrats have mastered the art of messaging. They can get a point across using 4 words, and a conservative has to spend the next 20 minutes explaining why those 4 words are a lie. They get help by the media hammering those 4 words into the American psyche. That's what we're up against. The people in the uninformed crowd don't want to spend 20 minutes listening to you, so they believe the shorter messaging. Folks, conservatives have to do better on the messaging because we have too many people who are ignorant of what's happening in our country right now. We have to inform them in ways that they will want to listen. We can stop calling them stupid, I understand, but it is what it is. If only 36% of people can pass a test about America, then what makes us think that they're going to believe or even care that Joe Biden is a criminal who put our country at risk? What makes us think that they will believe that we are in a Marxist revolution and it's an existential threat to freedom on our planet? I know I'm going to catch a lot of hell for this, but it had to be said. There are people out there who are ignorant of the things that are happening to their country. We got to do better with the messaging. Because a lot of these uninformed people, when they become informed, you'd be surprised at how resourceful they could be. help change this around, to help end the Marxist revolution, help freedom win. All right. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and share our videos with friends who want to stay informed of what's really going on. Stay informed, stay vigilant. Always remember to read between the lines and the lies. I'll see you in the next one.